Hello dear students. Today we are going to start the second part of the chapter, the Happy Prince. So let's begin the chapter. When I was alive and had a human heart, answered the statue, I didn't know what tears were. For I lived in the place where sorrow is not allowed to enter. So the Happy Prince was speaking with the swallow. The Happy Prince told the swallow that when I was alive, I didn't know what tears were. I was not aware about what tears were. He didn't know what tears were. Because I lived inside the palace where sorrow is not allowed to enter. The palace where the Happy Prince was living, in this palace, the sorrow is not allowed to enter the palace. That's why the Happy Prince didn't know what tears were. My courtiers called me Happy Prince, and happy indeed I was. So courtiers means the people who often visit the court of the king, or the people who attend the court regularly. They are called the courtiers. So the people, those who visit the king regularly, they called the prince the Happy Prince. And indeed he was happy because sorrows were not allowed to enter the palace. So I lived and so I died, and now that I am dead, they have set me up here so high that I can see the ugliness and all the misery of my city. And though my heart is made of lead, yet I cannot choose but weep. So I lived happily and I died. And when I died, they put me on a place, on a platform from where I can see the ugliness and the misery of the city. And I don't have a human heart. My heart is made of metal, and that's why I cannot choose what to do, but I cried. What, is he not solid gold? Said the swallow to himself. He was too polite to make any personal remarks. Now the swallow was thinking that the statue of the Happy Prince was made of pure gold, but when the Happy Prince told the swallow that my heart is made of lead, lead means a kind of metal. So the swallow was talking with himself that he was thinking that he thought the Happy Prince statue is made of pure gold, but he came to know that no, it is not made of pure gold, the heart is made of lead. Far away continued the statue in a low musical voice. So now what are the misery and what are the ugliness the Happy Prince saw? He was telling to the swallow in a musical voice. So far away continued the statue in a low musical voice. Far away in a little street there is a poor house. One of the windows is open, and through it I can see a woman seated at a table. Her face is thin and old, and she has coarse red hands, all pricked by the needle, for she is a seamstress. She is embroidering flowers on a satin gown for the loveliest of the queen's maids of honor to wear at the next court ball. So what the Happy Prince saw? The Happy Prince saw that far away in a little street there is a poor house, a poor family in a little street were staying, and one of the window of their house is open, and through this window the Happy Prince saw that a woman was sitting at a table, and her face is thin. She was very thin because she is poor and old, and that old means tired. She was very thin, her face was very thin, and she was very tired and she has coarse red hands, all by the needle. So, and she has coarse. Coarse means rough hands. Her hands were rough because she was all pricked by the needle. So she was, making something with the needle, and the needle pricked her hands, and her hands were rough and they were red because of blood. So she is a seamstress. Seamstress means a person, a woman who makes living by sewing. So what we can see, the happy prince saw that a woman who was sitting at a table making something with a needle. She was embroidering a beautiful flower on a gown of queen's maid, and this maid will be honored at the court ball. So the happy prince, when came to know the condition of this family, the happy prince was crying. In a bed in the corner of the room, her little boy is lying ill. So in a bed in the corner of the room, the son of that woman was crying because he has a fever, was lying ill. He has a fever and is asking his mother to give him oranges. So in the corner of the room, a small boy was lying. He was ill. He was suffering from a fever, and he asked his mother to give him oranges. His mother has nothing to give him but river water. But his mother has nothing to give him. They were so much poor. They had nothing. His mother had nothing to give him rather than the river water. So he is crying, swallow, swallow, little swallow, will you not bring her the ruby of my sword here? My feet are fastened to the pedestal and I cannot move. So the happy prince is telling to swallow, swallow, little swallow, can you please take out the ruby from the handle of my sword, and can you please give it to this poor family? Because I cannot move. If I could move, then I could give them, because my legs are fixed at a place and I cannot move. I am waited for in Egypt, said the swallow. My friends are flying up and down in the night and talking to the large lotus flowers. Soon they will go to sleep. So now the swallow is replying to the happy prince. The swallow is telling that I am waiting to go to Egypt. My friends already reached there and they are roaming around the river Nile and talking to the large lotus flowers. And soon they will go to sleep. So the swallow is telling to the prince that before my friends sleep, I have to reach Egypt. The prince asked the swallow to stay with him for one night and be his messenger. The boy is so thirsty and the mother so sad, he said. So now the happy prince is requesting the swallow that please stay here for one night and be my messenger, because I cannot move and you have to send the ruby to the poor family, to that poor family, because the boy is thirsty and his mother is sad. I don't think I like boys, answered the swallow. I want to go to Egypt. Now the swallow again refused the request of the happy prince. He said that I don't think, because I don't like boys and I want to go to Egypt. But the happy prince looked so sad. The swallow was sorry. It is very cold here, he said, but he agreed to stay with him for one night and be his messenger. So the sad face of the swallow looking at the sad face of the swallow, of the happy prince, the swallow was bound to stay there for one night. The swallow became emotional and he accepted the request of the happy prince and said that for one night I shall stay here and I shall be your messenger. Thank you, little swallow, said the prince. So now the happy prince thanked the swallow. The swallow picked out the great ruby from the prince's sword and flew away with it in his beak over the roofs of the town. So now the swallow picked out the ruby from the handle of the sword and flew away with it in his beak and over the roofs of the town. So now the swallow picked up the ruby on his beak, in his beak, and flew over the town. He passed by the cathedral tower where the white marble angels were sculptured. He passed by the palace and heard the sound of dancing. A beautiful girl came out on the balcony with her lover. I hope my dress will be ready in time for the state ball, she said. I have ordered flowers to be embroidered on it, but the seamstresses are so lazy. So now the swallow was flying over the cathedral tower. Cathedral tower means church, and on the top of the tower the idols of different angels were there, and they were made of white marbles. And he passed over the palace, and he again passed over the palace where he heard the sound of dancing, and a beautiful girl came out of the balcony, and she was talking with her lover, and she was telling that I hope my dress will be ready in time for the state ball. So we have read that a girl will be honored in the next court ball by the queen, and this girl might be the girl who is speaking now. So, and again the swallow passed over the river and saw the lanterns hanging on the masts of ships. So again the swallow passed over the river and saw the lanterns. Lanterns means lamp, and the lamps were hanging on the masts of ships. Mast means a tall post on a ship which is used for sailing, and on that post lamp was hanging. And the swallow passed over the ship, and at last she came to the poor woman's house and looked in. And at last the swallow came to the poor woman's house, and he looked in. The boy was tossing feverishly on his bed, and the mother had fallen asleep. So the boy was suffering from serious fever, and the mother had slept. She was so tired, he hopped and laid the great ruby on the table beside the woman's thimble. Then he flew gently around the bed, fanning the boy's forehead with his wings. How cool I feel, said the boy. I must be getting better. And he sank into a delicious slumber. So now what the swallow did? The swallow entered the house and saw the woman was sleeping. So he kept the ruby on the table, and the swallow slowly with his wings fanning the boy's forehead. Fanning means to rub with the wings slowly on the forehead of the boy, and the boy was sleeping, and he was telling that I must be getting better. So the boy was going to sleep. He was sleepy, and when the swallow was fanning with his wings, the boy said that I must be getting better. And he sank into a delicious slumber. So slumber means sleep, and the boy after that he fall into a deep sleep, a sweet sleep. When day broke, he flew down to the river and he had a bath. Tonight I go to Egypt, said the swallow, and he was in high spirits at the prospect. So during the day, the swallow went to the river, he took bath and returned to the tower and told happy prince that today I shall leave for Egypt. So dear students, today up to this much. If you have any doubt, you can text me, you can call me, and in the next video we shall start the third part of the chapter, the happy prince. Thank you.